Yo, what's up, Carbonation? Welcome here to another NASCAR Live. We have we were talking before we started of this particular name of this race. We're gonna go with Rough, the Rough Mortgage 500. If you're looking to play on DraftKings today, there is a $100,000 first place prize for a contest that it's 150 max, $15 entry. We have NASCAR GOAT Luke here per usual. He's going to be going over his favorite plays, picks, and then we might sprinkle some props in there as well. First things first, make sure if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, smash that follow, subscribe button, and of course, click the thumbs up on this stream as well. If you want to have more information besides what you're getting on this live stream, we do have articles, free to view articles for NASCAR that are currently live on the site. Just go to dfscomer.com, click on NASCAR, and boom, you'll see Luke's write-up for today's race. And then, of course, 24/7, 365 chatter inside of our Discord chat. Simply go to it for free by typing in dfskarma.com/chat. Housekeeping aside, Luke, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, the final race of the West Coast Swing. But if you watched the live stream last week, we had a pretty good day for jock markets. So I know Alex Bowman worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you didn't see that screenshot, typically I like to sprinkle, get shares of like 2 or 3 people. Like, you know what? Let me just focus on like one because NASCAR is relatively new to the jock market platform. If you have no idea what jock market is, go to jockmkt.online. So jockmarket.online. But the market is shortened to MKT in the URL, and you can get all of our plays for free in our Discord for that as well. But yeah, we were talking about that because they just added NASCAR for the first time 2 weeks ago for the Daytona 500, or I don't know, even 2 weeks ago, 2-ish weeks ago, for the cash market. And yeah, I think I got like 25 shares of Alex Bowman. He won the race, and I wound up winning, I don't know, like $400-$500. Just if anybody that watched the stream, if you pulled up Jock Market and you also got yourself a handful of shares of Bowman, like it's not something where we're competing for first place like a DraftKings tournament. We can all get shares of the same guy, and yeah, you all would want $400-$500 with us as well. So I like to start these live streams off by going through strategy first. What in particular about this race, whether it's the weather, the track, the rules, the restrictions, should we need to know when building a lineup for the Roth Mortgage 500?
So track like Phoenix, it's a 1 mile flat track. So there's several different things that we can look at when we're making our lineups. We can look at previous track history here. We can look at the practice and qualifying data that we had yesterday. And we can also look at recent form just to kind of see like which drivers have been fast this week. But in terms of like Phoenix for DFS, it's a 312 lap race, which means there's I don't remember the exact number, but all I know is that there's a lot of dominator points available, at least on DraftKings, because for FanDuel they only do laps led, so it's not as important over there. But for DraftKings, there's a lot of dominator points available, which means that we're going to want to target multiple lap leaders.
So it's similar to last week then, so to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar to last week. There's I think like 50 more laps than last week, so dominator points mean a little bit more this week.
I gotcha. Sure. All right, so we will be pulling up Jock Market as well. I know we just touched on that briefly. We'll be pulling that up on the stream in a second here. For those who want to also win $400-$500 with us again this week, because I'm sure you're gonna hit the winner again, because Luke is just like that. But you do see we have something pulled up on the screen here. If you're like, this looks like an amazing piece of art, what exactly is this? This is our optimizer, our lineup optimizer for NASCAR. I mean, it's not just for NASCAR. We have, NBA, NHL, MLB, NFL, golf, MMA, NASCAR, like Legends, Counter-Strike, college basketball, college football, Call of Duty, and soccer. But of course, we're going to highlight NASCAR because that's what we're talking about right here. So this is an opportunity for you guys to be able to build 150 lineups at once. If you are entering, you are going to be max playing that $15 entry, $100 first place. You're like, how in the world am I going to create 150 NASCAR lineups? The dfskarma.com optimizer. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk. We already talked about the strategy. Let's go first into your top tier favorite plays. First, focusing on cash game lineup. For the cash games, who are you targeting for that top tier salary range?
So my favorite top tier cash play is going to be Ryan Blaney. He's going to be really, he's going to be high owned this week in cash, but it makes too much sense. He's starting on the pole. He's been fast all week. He has some good track history at Phoenix with multiple top 5 finishes. He started on the pole here in 2019. I think he led like 90 laps in that race. So I'd expect something similar here today. And he's just underpriced, especially on a site like DraftKings, because DraftKings scores dominator points. Dominator points are so valuable on a site like DK. So I think he's underpriced there, and he also makes sense on FanDuel. So Blaney's probably my favorite cash play in the top tier.
All right, then for those GPP, I was gonna say GPP only players, but then again, I was like, man, it's like we don't necessarily want to cater to the GPP only players because that is not good bankroll strategy. So I was about to say that, but I corrected myself, but I said it out loud anyway. If you're only playing GPPs, you are not going to win on a consistent basis. You have to make sure you do splash some cash, majority of it anyway, into the cash games, because that is how you grow your bankroll over time with proper bankroll strategy. So that aside, who are you targeting for GPPs for that top tier salary range?
So in the top tier, I think that I don't know how much ownership Larson's going to get, but assuming that he gets a little bit, I'm going to say I like Joey Logano. I think Logano's going to go overlooked today just because he's starting a little further up. He would have qualified on the pole, but he screwed up his lap in the second round of qualifying, so now he's starting 10th. But Logano's one of the best drivers when it comes to like the flat tracks. He has multiple wins at Martinsville. We've seen him win at Phoenix in the past. He offers place differential, and I think he could be a sneaky dominator today that people are going to overlook because there's guys like Truex and Chase starting further back, which don't get me wrong, they're good plays, but I think Logano is just as good of a play. That's going to be lower owned. So I'd say Logano is my favorite tournament play in the top tier.
All right, and before we get to before we go over to the mid-tier stuff, I was going to show you. Oh, there you go. It's already pulled up. So yeah, I was going to show you guys the article here. So this is Luke's write-up for this race today. So like I said, it's free to read. All you got to do is go to dfskarma.com. You click on that NASCAR in the top of the menu, or if you're on mobile, just tap on NASCAR in the mobile menu, and then right here, he's got his favorite race drivers for this race. And even though he's going to be touching on some of them in this podcast, you get a lot more descriptive breakdown in these write-ups. Then, of course, he has the final thought, which is part of our NASCAR Premium and MVP subscription. But that being said, let's go to it. Mid-tier cash play. Who are we targeting?
So the mid-tier cash play, it has to, even though I hate playing him sometimes because he does wreck a lot, but I like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Phoenix isn't his best track, but he does have multiple top 20s here in the Cup Series, and starting all the way back in 36, as long as he keeps the car on the track, he should be fine. I would expect him to finish inside the top 20, which will probably be enough for his price point. But yeah, he's a safe play. He offers the place differential, and I think he's underpriced. So I think Stenhouse would be my favorite cash mid-tier play.
All right, and then moving over to the GPP side for the same tier, who are we looking at?
So in the mid-tier, I think there's definitely some interesting options because I think some guys are going to go overlooked. But one of the guys that I really like this week that might be underowned is Tyra Reddick. People are going to pull up his data at Phoenix in the Cup Series and see that he has no top 10s in 4 starts and be like, okay, I'm not playing Reddick. But in his Cup debut here, he was running inside the top 5, I believe, and he was running some fast laps, and he was beating guys like Kyle Busch, which at the time that was his track. So that was pretty impressive. But he offers some place differential starting 12th. And I think he could be a sneaky lap leader today. It's not guaranteed it'll happen. And he doesn't have to lead to pay off his price, but he could get a top 5 here with some fast laps, which is what I kind of said with like Bowman last week, and that worked out pretty well. So I like Reddick as a tournament play.
So not just 2 lead laps, but have the most laps led is what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying he could lead laps.
Okay, I got you. So he could sneak his way up there for a little bit and then get those points to vault him into a top 5. I got you. All right, so let's move over to the cheapo range. For cash, is there anybody like at bare minimum salary that we could plug in, or is it something where just based on how salary is across the board that you're still kind of targeting the higher end of the cheapo range, or is there somebody that's like easily a punt to be able to squeeze in those dominators for your cash strategy?
So yeah, it depends on how you're building your cash lineup. If you get a lot of those top tier guys, then you're going to need a punt. But if you're doing more of a balanced build, then you don't have to go down there. But if you're playing a lot of those top tier guys, my favorite punt is probably Todd Gilland. He's been good this season. He knows how to keep the car clean, and he just gets to the finish, which is all we need at his price point. He's starting 32nd, and he offers place differential, and he doesn't have to do much to pay off. I don't know why DraftKings has him at 4,900. He's too cheap for what he does every week. I wouldn't play him on FanDuel because I don't think you have to go here, but on DraftKings with the Dominators and the importance of that, I think he's the best punt.
I got a question on YouTube. Remember, guys, we do this stuff live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time from another, unless there's a nighttime race or a non-Sunday race. So we do this live so you guys can ask questions and get them answered live when you're not asking Luke questions 24/7 365 in our free NASCAR chat room. But we do have a question on YouTube right now from our friend Lewis. He said, I think Larson is too risky for his price tag. Thoughts on going significantly under on Larson? So we just mentioned Larson earlier for as his favorite GPP top tier thing, but just based on that feedback, he thinks it's too pricey for the risk, too risky for the price tag. Is it crazy to go significantly under on him, even though that is your favorite GPP play for that tier?
I said Logano, but I still.
Oh, I misread it. Yes, but did I say Larson or Logano?
You said that I liked Larson the most, but I said Logano. I mentioned Larson briefly, but then I said Logano.
Those names are similar in my head, and I don't know why. But yes, so rewind. His favorite GPP play was Logano. The question in YouTube is Larson. Continue.
So yeah, I know Larson's going to the rear, and I know that makes him risky because he's going to have to work his way up to the front. But we've seen it time and time again. He'll go to the back, and then he'll be in like the top 10 by like lap 50. And it doesn't even matter at that point because he's going to work his way up and he's going to be a threat to score dominator points later in the race. I understand that he's expensive, and I get that because it's hard to fit him in. But you can't just say, okay, Larson doesn't have enough upside because he's starting in the back. He's going to work his way up quickly. He can score the dominator points. We've seen him do it before. I just think that he's a guy that might go under-owned simply because of that. He's starting in the back. And if that's the case, then I don't mind being overweight because it's pretty easy to fit him in as long as you're taking some of those punts like a Todd Gilland like I recommended.
So you still like him, but do you think it's to kind of, I guess, finish answering Lewis's question, do you think it's risky to go significantly under on him with all that said?
I don't really know if I'd say it's risky because the odds of him working are lower now, but you have to consider that Larson can easily just burn you, unlike anyone else. Because when Larson gets out front, he leads and leads. So he could put up one of those huge DFS scores. And if you're significantly underweight and he does that, you're probably in trouble.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, keep the questions coming in, guys. I think did we do the GPP for the cheapo side? We didn't get to that yet, did we?
I don't think so.
Let's finish up with the tier part of the podcast by doing that.
So yeah, the 6K range. There's a lot of guys that they all kind of look like the same play because they're all starting closer to the back and they all offer place differential. But if I had to pick out of those guys, my favorite tournament play would probably be Daniel Suarez. I just think that this Trackhouse team has looked really good this season. We just saw Ross Chastain last week lead over 100 laps at Vegas, which I don't think anyone saw that coming. I wouldn't expect Suarez to be leading in today's race, but he looked fast in practice. He was top 15 in 10 lap averages, and starting 23rd, he offers place differential. He's cheap, and he could get a top 15 finish, which is all we need at his price. So I like Suarez for my favorite tournament play. I think he's playable in cash as well, FYI.
All right, let's go to I'm gonna pull up Jock Market here real quick. So once again, if you did not tune into our last few live streams, shame on you. But hey, welcome for the first time for our NASCAR stuff. But this is one of our top partners, Jock Market. That is JOCMKT. They abbreviated markets as part of their branding. So JOCMKT.online is how you download the app or play on desktop if you want to do that. But in a nutshell, for those who are completely unfamiliar with this, it's simply you're buying a share of a player at a certain price point, let's say $5, expecting them to exceed their projections. So if they exceed the projections, so if they're projected to finish as the 10th highest scoring driver, but they finish at 9th after you buy them around the 10th cost, I feel like every time I try to explain it out loud, it feels like it's so much more difficult than it's such an easy concept, but explaining it out loud is so difficult for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, you're just trying to get drivers who are going to exceed the projections. That's the gist of it. We did completely nail it on the first cash market we played in last week with Alex Bowman, where he not only won the race, but he became the top overall scorer as well, because they had this massive win bonus on Jock Market and pretty much all the other sites as well. So for this race, if we're picking one driver, which I'm going to scroll through the list here for you so you can see it on the screen. We're picking one driver to exceed their current finishing spot, not in the race, but the finishing spot in points scored and fantasy points scored. I mean, we got Alex Bowman here again, 16th. So, for example, let me just pick. So we just have Daniel Suarez as being his favorite GPP cheapo. So right now he's projected to finish as the 25th highest scoring driver for this race in terms of fantasy points. So if we get him at, let's just say a couple bucks a share, you get like 10 shares of him, but he finishes in the top 10 in scoring, then we're making, a good chunk of change in profit there. So that's the easier explained gist. But who are we thinking right now as I go down this list?
So yeah, I definitely like Suarez, and I already mentioned him already as one of my favorite DFS plays. But I think one of the guys that could win you a lot of money today. I think I mentioned him for tournaments, but I like Tyra Reddick a lot today. I just think that he's gonna he's gonna bring speed to the track. RCR has been pretty solid this season. I think he was like 6th in 10 lap averages in practice, which is good because at Phoenix we usually see some long runs, and if Reddick has the speed, he should be able to run around the top 5. And I just think that he's too low right now, so I would take advantage of him.
So you think you're out of all of the drivers, you think you are strongest on Tyler Reddick finishing inside the top 10 so you can at least get a little bit of profit, because right now he's projected at 11. So top 10 scoring for Reddick is your number one vote of confidence on Jock for today. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. Well, let's load up on Tyler Reddick again and have another crazy screenshot of $500 profit. Let's make it happen. I think we have some more questions. Let me pull up the chat here again. Let's see. Ricky says, what car manufacturer does best on this kind of track? Which brand has most cars finish in top 10?
That's a
good question.
That's an interesting question, but the thing we have to consider is there's not that many Toyotas in the Cup Series, but they have had success at Phoenix. We've seen all of them do well. The Chevys, I'd say Hendrick cars have been good here. The Fords have as well. I don't really say there's like one manufacturer that does like better than the others, but in terms of like the guys I like, I would say I kind of like the Fords a lot today. So I think the Fords run well here, and I think they can take advantage of that.
All right, we got let's see here. I'm trying to pronounce this driver's name. Let me see. I don't know if it's misspelled in chat. I got to pull it up on Jock Market here again. Is it Gilligan? Gilliland?
Todd Gilland.
Gilliland. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so it is spelled that way. I was like, there's way too many L's and I's in there, but hey, it is what it is. He's asking if Gilliland is a cash or GPP play or both.
I would say he's both, just because if you're trying to cram in some of those top tier plays, you can easily just punt down to Gilliland, who he's gonna have decent ownership in cash. I think people have caught on to like the punts and stuff. He's safe. He can't really hurt your lineup. He can only move up. So I would say he's a good cash play. In tournaments, I don't know how much I'm going to have. I liked him last week because I knew he was going to go under-owned, but this week I think he's going to go over-owned in tournaments. So I don't mind being underweight just because of that. And at a track like Phoenix, we usually don't see a ton of attrition here, which is kind of what we're banking on for a guy like Gilland to kind of like move up and pass people as guys wreck out. But at a track like Phoenix, we don't really see that as much. So there's definitely some concern in tournaments. But I still think he's a fine play. I'll have exposure to him, but I don't think I'm going to have as much as the field will.
Gotcha. I think this person's name in YouTube is is it Riceu? Riceu? If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. I always try my best, but I don't know if this is a question or a statement. If it is a statement, which it looks like it is, I don't know if it's pertaining to Jock or DraftKings or what. But he just goes Chastain 100%. So I don't know if that is his pick to win, pick for a particular category. If you want to go more in depth on your comment, we'd love to address it. But Chastain 100% is all this man typed in the chat. So we'll move on to Bowdy. He said, "What is the maximum to pay for Reddick on Jock Market?" So how that works is, you kind of have to know. And know how much you pay per share, like the maximum you should pay for someone. You need to know where you expect on them finishing. So I'll refer to Luke here to go more in detail on this. So I know you said that you're comfortable with him finishing inside the top 10, and that is your most confident Jock play. But if you were to actually pick a position you feel like he is most likely to finish in, if everything goes right, inside the top 10, would it be like 10th place, 7th place, 5th, 3rd? Where if you were to pick one position that's like, this sounds like it's about right for what I'm projecting, what position is that? And then I'll go and finish the rest of that answer.
I would probably say, because I don't think, I mean, he could win, but that's not where I see him running. I think if I had to pick a position, I would either say 4th or 5th.
In fantasy points scored?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, if you were to assume or bank on Tyra Reddick getting 11th place in Naughton, like I said, these aren't places in actual finishing of the race. These are fantasy points scored out of all of the drivers. If he finishes in 11th place, which is where he's projected right now, every share pays out at $7 a share. So that is 11th place. So 11th place is $7 a share. But what was the position you just said you're confident in?
I said 4th or 5th.
Okay, so let's just say 5th here. So if he does finish in 5th, then every share you have of Reddick, if he finishes in 5th place exactly in fantasy points scored, he gets $12 a share. So you have to see, like, okay, if we're confident him finishing 5th or higher at $12 a share, well, you want to at least make some profit. So I probably say the most I would go on him would probably be $8. So every share you have, you at least get a $4 profit. So you kind of have to see, where do you think he's going to finish? What's that payout? And then what's the payout where some people are fine with like a 50-cent profit or $1 profit. I'm not going to risk, losing a lot of money on this app just to potentially get a 50-cent per share profit. So that's why I kind of target that $4 range. So let's say $8. $8 is probably the most I would go based on that situation of what Luke is projecting and what the current Jock rankings are. Let's go ahead and pull up. Let me go to Price Picks here and see if you have one particular play on Price Picks that you like more than anything else. First, is it fantasy? I'm assuming it's fantasy points like it was last week, right?
Yep.
All right, let me pull up. Or I guess Google Chrome does not want to pull it up. All right. Well, I think you already dropped a play in our Discord for our premium members. So touch on, I think it was a 2 pick. So touch on your favorite out of those 2. Which was your favorite over under fantasy points for Price Picks? And if you don't know what Price Picks is, it's a prop site where you pick over under on fantasy points or particular stats. You do 2 players at a time, 3, 4, 5, and the more you pick, of course, the more payout you get when you hit them. Price Picks down online. I feel like there's very, very few people that watch these live streams that don't have an account on there yet, because majority of Karma Nation is on it. But PricePicks.online, use promo code Karma, get a $100 deposit bonus. Back to Luke, favorite play out of the 2 you dropped for our premium members.
So it moved a little, which means that I got him at a little bit of a steal. But I still like Joey Logano on Prize Picks. I already mentioned that he's great at the flat tracks. He has a win here. I think he's finished like top 5 in like 5 of the last 6 here. I might be wrong on that, but he's great at these short flat tracks. And I just think at right now he's at 43.5. And I still think that's too low for a guy like Logano, because I think I have him prize scoring at least 50. So I think he's too low right now because he's starting 10th. So you're going to get a couple place differential points, assuming he finishes like 6th or 5th. And I could see him leading some laps at some point and also racking up some fast laps. So I think Logano is my favorite Prize Picks play of the two.
I was going to say that we have so many, like I said, majority, if not everyone in Carbonation is on Prize Picks and Monkey Knife Fight, 2 of our top prop partners. So when someone like Luke with NASCAR or Eric or one of our other guys that drop plays for our premium members, whenever they drop something in our premium chat room in the channels that are only for our prop subscribers, everybody jumps on it. So as you said, like the line moved, like as soon as you drop something, it was like boom, smash it in. And then of course, when you have so many people, so much money on a particular play, it's going to change the numbers because that's just how sportsbooks work. To accommodate for a massive amount going one direction. So there's benefit to being a premium subscriber to the prop stuff is because you get the lines of the best possible line as opposed to hearing about it on a live stream after, 3,000 people have locked it in prior to that and moved the lines. So let's go ahead and focus on, let's go Monkey Knife Fight as well. Is it the kind of the same thing? If you can find Logano fantasy points, you want to go over on him as well?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know if he has one, though.
Let me see real quick.
I remember seeing it.
I feel like I got to restart Chrome because everything is slow as molasses today. Let me see if I can pull up somewhere else here real quick. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah, there was a rapid fire one where it was Logano versus Kyle Busch, and you have to pick the higher score, and Logano was surprisingly the underdog. So I liked that.
Say it one more time again.
So there was a rapid fire, a Monkey Knife Fight. It was Logano versus Kyle Busch for fantasy.
Yeah, points. I just pulled that up here. I don't know if I can pull on the screen, but yeah. So a 2-2 rapid fire. One of the categories you have to choose is Logano versus Busch, and Logano gets a 1.5 bonus handicap, which is you already like Logano more anyway. Without that, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
All right. So let's say we go Logano there. So the other category is Larson versus Truex. Truex gets a 2.5 bonus. Which direction do you think you're going to go that way?
Dude, that one's the hard one, but I still give the slight edge to Larson. So okay. Even though he's a 2.5 point favorite, I just think that he'll work his way back up.
So that is on monkeyknifefight.online. Like I said, it's very unlikely that somebody's watching this live stream and does not have an account on PrizePicks.online or monkeyknifefight.online yet, because we've been the go-to source for these plays for the last 4 years now. So chances are you've already signed up for an account. But if you haven't yet, monkeyknifefight.online. It's Monkey Knife Fight. It's a crazy site name, but it is what it is. monkeyknifefight.online. Use promo code KARMA, get a $100 deposit bonus. If you go click on new game, click on NASCAR, click on the 2-2 rapid fire for fantasy points. We're doing Kyle Larson and his matchup against Truex, and then we're going Logano and his matchup against Kyle Busch. In theory, if you drop the $100 on that, it's a 3x, so you'll win $300 for if that winds up hitting, which of course we hope it does. Let's see, is there anything else that you haven't touched on yet that you want to touch on before we wrap this baby up?
Should I talk about my betting card?
Let's talk about the betting card. So I'm sure the odds look pretty nice on Reddick. I know we've talked about Reddick a lot, so I'm assuming he's on there somewhere, right?
Yep.
Let me pull up his odds.
I saw him at 25-1 on DK Sportsbook. I don't
based know. on the payout odds, is he your favorite bet based on because it's such a nice 25-1, or is there somebody you like more than that?
I think Reddick is probably the best for that in terms of like payout.
All right, I got it pulled up now. So yeah, Reddick right now, 25-1 still.
Yeah.
Who else do you think you're gonna splash a little bit on?
So just for like long shots.
Well, I know that Reddick has a nice payout at the 25-1 odds, but is there somebody that is statistically more favored to win than 25-1 that you're like, I would also look at him, or is that just nothing juicy enough to be worth your while today?
So I don't mind Almirola either. He's I think 20-1. He won at New Hampshire last year, and he's one of the best drivers at these short flat tracks. And somehow he has a top 10 in every race this season. He's the only driver that's done that. So he continues to put himself in a position to be a threat for the win. So I think eventually he's going to pay off. So
he's the best driver in the world. Do you know why he's the best driver in the world, Luke? Because you know what college he went to? Went to UCF.
Ooh.
So that makes him the best driver in the world. But all right, so we got Almirola, like Almirola, man. I don't know why. Even though I say it right, I feel like I pause. Like, that can't be right. We have Tyler Reddick. Is there anybody else that you're looking at to win the race?
So obviously, I like Logano is like probably my favorite, like 10-1, just because I think he should be more like 7 or 8-1. But one of my favorite long shots, I think, I forgot his name was in the YouTube, but he was mentioning Chastain. But at 60-1, I think he's definitely worth taking a look at for a long shot. I mean, we just saw last week that he was fast, and he almost won the race last week. So I don't mind him at 60-1.
All right. So we have another question here. Sean says, Luke, who is the Seamus Power today? Referring to who do we always play but should avoid?
Oh, that's a good one. Who's the
somebody
guy?
that we always play but should avoid today?
Someone that we always play we should avoid. Yeah, it's probably someone in that 6K range. I'm just trying. I wish I knew which one's gonna bomb, but one of them's gonna suck. If I had to pick which one, with my luck, it'll probably be Cole Custer, just because I've brought it up before. He's had a very bad. He's very bad when I play him, but he's great when I fade him. So he's on the.
So if it's opposite for whatever you do, what are you doing today so we know how to react to it? Are you going to fade him?
I'm playing Custer, so don't play him.
So we should fade Custer because you're playing him. Because statistically speaking, when you play him, he sucks. All right, so there's your fade of the day. Don't do. Sean just said, yeah, Custer is tilting. Don't do what Luke's doing. Fade Custer. But we'll go ahead and I guess wrap things up there. If you have any more questions for Luke, feel free to just ask him in the chat, the NASCAR DFS chat channel. You can go get free access to that by going to dfskarma.com/chat. Once again, the play for Jock Market, we are targeting Reddick. Let me pull it up here. Targeting getting as many shares of Reddick as we can. We're $8 is the most we paid per share. I don't think Reddick is going to get that high. I would guesstimate. Let me see. I could probably get a good. Yeah, his suggested price is $6.17. Even though that doesn't really mean anything. I don't think he's going to get high as $8. So it should be in a range where if he does finish top 5, then all of us make money. And I say this and I repeat it again because when it happens and we put that $500 plus winning screenshot next to this clip, it's like, hey, remember that time where we told everybody to do the exact same thing and y'all would have won? The same thing, guys. Listen, it drives me crazy. Like, AC is the best PGA handicapper in the world. It is not even middle March yet. It is still a few days away from the Ides of March. And this man has already hit, I think, 6 PGA winners in this early season. And then freaking Sam, earlier this week, he had on Thursday, he hit the first round winner, which was it was a 160-1 odd first round leader. And like, I'm like, all you guys got to do, like, you don't have to put just do whatever you're comfortable betting or doing these things, but we are giving all of this stuff, and like these bets are free and these live streams are free. We're trying to help you guys win money. We're just, so go on Jock Market. This is the easiest. If you play on DraftKings, you're like, man, I feel like I lose more money on DraftKings than I win. I mean, DraftKings is different because you are versing 6 bazillion other people, and some of them, most of them have optimizers like we do. So most of them have tools, premium tools that you would need to subscribe to for us to get, but most of them have their own method of madness that also always, vaults them higher than the average bear. But this right here, like, this is the easiest platform, DFS platform to profit on. If you get a share of Reddick at $6 and he finishes at where he's projected to finish, so nothing crazy. If he finishes at 11 and you get a share from $6, you made profit. Like, this is how easy this is. You don't have to compete against anyone. You're just simply trying to get shares of a driver or a player for NBA or whatever that you expect to exceed their projections. That's it. It's very easy. I went on this site almost every single day of the calendar year. It's easy. But yeah, that being said, we're going to wrap things up. Make sure you read the article on dfskarma.com for NASCAR today. Just go to dfskarma.com, click on the NASCAR tab to see that. And then if you need access to the final thoughts and the core plays, where he gives you the exact players that he's targeting for DraftKings and FanDuel, go to dfskarma.com/pricing and either get MVP or the NASCAR subscription. But good luck today, guys. We'll see the rest of the chatter from here on out inside of our free Discord. So thanks for tuning in, and good luck.